Another Tuesday here inside of Bill Snyder Family Stadium. Derek Young and Matt Hall from K-State Online as the Wildcats prepares to take on number 12 West Virginia Saturday in Morgantown. Derek, first thing I want to ask you about was Snyder talked about both his quarterbacks today, both the play of Skylar Thompson and then Alex Delton off the bench. Your thoughts about how those guys played last week and what Bill Snyder had to say?
Well, he kind of was pretty complimentary of Alex Delton, actually, in his 72-yard throw. He got around to complimenting Skylar Thompson, but looked like he kind of wanted to give a little bit of tough love, kind of motivate him for, better play down the road, because he said, he has some good days, he has some bad days, and that's about what you get from any other player. But I believe when you got to the players a little bit, then we got, we feel better when one quarterback was getting, the majority of the reps. That was a better week of practice, and they got more rhythm established. So the players and Coach Snyder, I guess, didn't truly see eye to eye on how the quarterbacks have been managed, to be, put bluntly.
That's exactly what we saw today. Both Dalton Reisner and Dalton Schoen. That's the same, right? Dalton Reisner and Dalton Schoen. It scared me for a second. Both shared those thoughts afterwards that K-State played better with one quarterback getting a lot of the reps in practice and in the game. Dalton Schoen told us exactly that today in Veneer.
I think it's definitely helped for his rhythm and everything like that. It's definitely a tough situation to be in, a position battle like that. And like I've said when you guys have asked about it before, you can kind of regulate it during practice a little bit, but in a game situation you can't really regulate an even split, so it's really hard for those guys to get that rhythm back there. So I think, with Skylar getting all the reps, that definitely helped his rhythm, his confidence, his ability to lead.
Yes, that was one of the two Daltons that starts on K-State's offense. Continuing, Derek, on that side of the ball, a lot of talk, and I think rightfully so, about switching Colin Klein and Andre Coleman's positions. Colin Klein now in the booth, Andre Coleman down on the sideline. Just an interesting conversation. I'm curious your thoughts on the move, and if you heard anything today when discussing that you thought was interesting.
I mean, you really can't criticize the move because that was probably the best the offense looked all year, so maybe that's a solution that's going to work for this team moving forward. Bill Snyder's comments make you think that he's still, at least for himself, and maybe what he prefers as a head coach is to have the offensive coordinator, up in the box so he can see the whole field and kind of, glean whatever he can from that. But obviously that's not what they're doing right now. They have Andre Coleman on the sideline, they have Colin Klein in the booth. And so even though that's what Bill Snyder prefers, they're not going to do that. So you wonder if they're kind of going away from, what he wants to do, or is Colin Klein, have more responsibility in the play calling. There's two ways to look at that. I think it's kind of what I've heard also is I think we're getting into a situation where I think that's what the two coordinators kind of wanted it to begin with. I think Colin Klein was more comfortable in the booth, and Andre Coleman is more comfortable on the sideline, and now they're back in their comfort zone. It's not necessarily that Klein has any more added responsibility from this week compared to last week.
Let's flip sides of the ball. The big story with West Virginia is, of course, Will Greer, David Sills, Gary Jennings, that offense. Bill Snyder had a lot of praise today for Will Greer, and so did defensive tackle Joe Davies.
It's our biggest concern right now on defense because we saw some film from the past two games of him scrambling, and it's pretty good. So we're going to try to make sure to keep him inside the pocket and use his arm more.
There were some comments today, whether they were joking or serious, from Bill Snyder about having a hard time getting to Will Greer with his front four. Either way, though, it's going to be something K-State has to do, I think, to have a chance in this game.
Yeah, he was complimentary of some of the pass rush that we've seen the first 3 weeks, specifically Wyatt Hubert. But he was, hampered on the fact that he's worried about Will Greer's mobility, which, it came off to me as a bit of a surprise because when I first think of Will Greer, I think of him as the passer. But if you're Bill Snyder, it kind of makes sense if you think about last year when Kansas State played West Virginia, and Will Greer did beat them through the passing game, but it was set up by his legs. So I understand why that would be the concern moving forward. Bill Snyder joked he doesn't know if he has anyone to bring him down. And while that seems like hyperbole, as last year they struggled to do that, and their defensive line this year is not as good as it was last year.
Either way, West Virginia is going to provide a great challenge for K-State, and I think Davies and the rest of the Wildcats look at it as a chance to make a statement in a game where they're a big underdog.
I definitely feel like we have something to prove because they think that we're not going to be able to hold our own against powerhouse Big 12 teams like West Virginia, Oklahoma. So we just got to go out there with a chip on our shoulder and fight for 4 quarters.
On the same vein as his question, haven't played as well probably as you want through 3 games. Do you guys look at this as an opportunity to write a lot of that stuff and make a statement?
Yes, this is right now we're still improving. Like each game we've gotten better and better, and we plan on making this our best game so far this season.
Absolutely will be a big challenge for the Wildcats this Saturday. Grant and I will be in Morgantown. Derek will be back covering recruiting as always for K-StateOnline. So for Derek Young, Grant Flanders, myself, Matt Hall, Thanks for watching, and please tell your friends.